Ray Phoenix here, and this is Daredevil for the Game Boy Advance. This is the only video game that Daredevil ever got, and it's on the Game Boy Advance. And this game is based on the Daredevil movie that came out in 2003, that crappy Daredevil movie where Ben Affleck had to play Daredevil. It was a sucky movie. I never watched it myself to hear how bad it was. Just quite a shame, because I am quite a fan of the Daredevil. I'm a big fan of the Daredevil character. I really like Daredevil. I read a lot of his comics. I really like his comics. He's an interesting character. He is a really good, entertaining character. It's too bad he doesn't get very many good video games, nor does he get any good movies. I mean, come on. Spider-Man's had a lot of good movies. Spider-Man has had a lot of good video games. Well, Spider-Man's actually had a lot of video games, good and bad, as you probably know from my last video, but this game is, again, it's better than that crappy Spider-Man game on the Sega 32X, that's for sure. But it's better than a lot of other crappy Spider-Man games too, but this game is far from being the best at anything. This game is nothing to write home about, really. I mean, this is a game that has average control, more like on the lower end of mediocre controls. The game's kind of sloppy. Daredevil moves and runs like an old guy a lot of the time in the game. Daredevil is an old man in this game, pretty much. He runs slow, his punches are weak, they don't do much against those bad guys out on the street. This is a 2D, it would be better if they made it something like a beat-em-up game, you know, like Final Fight or Streets of Rage, a beat-em-up. This game would have been better if it was made like that, but it's not. They just made a simple 2D side-scrolling platformer like this. More like the Spider-Man games, like that were on the Genesis and things like that, but this game is better than a lot of, I already said this game's better than this crappy Spider-Man games on the Genesis. And, yeah, so this game overall, again, bottom line, it's nothing right home about. It's really just an average game, really. It's nothing overly good. At the same time, it's nothing overly bad, either. Don't expect to hear any funny rants in this video, because that's how it is. And, oh, that guy just shot me in the head with a gun. Ooh, the bad guys are getting bad now. They have guns. Thankfully, Daredevil can't see those because, you know, he's blind, so he can't see danger ahead of him. That's why he's called Daredevil. He always takes daring risks because he can't see what's ahead of him. Things that would scare most normal-sighted people don't scare him. That's what makes his character so great. That's why his comics are so great. That's what makes him so awesome. Unfortunately, in this game, well, that same can't be said for this game. This game doesn't really have much intrigue. It's just simply, you go and fight people. You know, it's almost like, I wouldn't be surprised if they made this game. This as like a generic template game. We're saying this game is a template, like, oh, we don't know what to call this game. We don't know what to make it, so let's just make a game. And then later, when the company that makes the Daredevil movie asks us to make a video game based on the movie, let's take that game we made, just slap Daredevil's face on it, make the character playing as Daredevil, and voila, it's Daredevil. Now, you could easily exchange him for Batman. It'd probably be the same thing. It would be Adam West when he was like in his 80s or something like that, because, you know, that's how the Daredevil plays, like Adam West if he was in his 80s, like old Adam West, where he breaks his hips while fighting, pow, wham, smash, and he breaks his hip, my back, you know, he strains his back, like Han Solo was like in 2015, you know, when he's running down the hallway of the the hallway of the Death Star, you're like, and he runs up, and then he snaps his back, and then he's just as he's about to shoot at a stormtrooper. Because we all know it's Han Solo. You know, Han Solo still does stuff like that as an old man. I'm sure Daredevil will still be fighting evil as an old man, too. He's a good superhero. I'm sure when he's old, and they say that, and it said in one of those later comics, they said that time has been really good to his senses. His radar senses are even better in old age. Unfortunately, Captain America can't say the same for himself, because Captain America started to become an old man, too. Which was quite a shame. But then again, I mean, well, they're not cartoon characters, technically speaking, they're comic book characters. And this part's a pain. You're trying to jump onto, and like I said before, Daredevil's not really acrobatic in this game. Daredevil's not much of an acrobat in this game, like he is in the comics. In the comics, he's an acrobat. He can jump to things easy. This game, not so much. I mean, you could put anyone there. You can even put Dick Tracy in here. It'd probably make more sense if it was Dick Tracy or someone like that. Or you can make a video game of Chris Chan, and you could just you can make Chris Chan the main character of this game. You can make the villain Mary Lee Walsh, and you can just make them, and you can make these bad guys jerk-offs. It'd probably be the same. I mean, if you were to make a video game that was accurate to Chris Chan, this game probably would be an accurate depiction of that, because Chris Chan is weak, and he moves like an old man, much like how Daredevil does in this game. Now you see you're jumping over cars, as you can see, you have to miss the road, I have to admit, the graphics in this game are very good. They look like SNES or Sega Genesis graphics, which is kind of typical for a Game Boy Advance. A lot of Game Boy Advance games typically have Sega Genesis or SNES-like graphics. They have to beat up that guy. That guy has a knife, too. Like, come on. Do knives actually do anything? Maybe it's not even a real knife. Maybe it's just made out of rubber. The reason why Daredevil's injured by it, because Daredevil's weak. Anyone that's weak could be injured by rubber. Even if you're a deck of cards, sorry, not deck of cards, a house of cards could be destroyed by a rubber knife. Although, even Chris Chan would probably be weak against a rubber knife. I've used rubber knives before to try to cut things open. I don't have much success, as you could probably guess. And you have to jump up there and hit more bugs. And there you go. That's all I really need. There's not much more need to be said about this game. You already know all that needs to be known about this game. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.